Impressionism. We're just covering the biggies here for the Impression. Do realize a lot of Impressionist works in the Dallas Museum of Art, and normal admission is free. I recommend just paying the money and parking in their parking lot, which goes underground for a few levels if you need to, because then you can just get on the elevator and go right there. So if you want to see these, I guess I used to take a class down there every once in a while. This was way before COVID, but we changed our. I can't fit a whole class, and we used to have people movers, which I can drive. Okay, so the art of pure perception, one that intensified the immediacy of the visual experience. So the Impressionist works are always just visually sort of stunning, captivating. They're pleasing to look at. So because they are pleasing to look at, a lot of people will have always said, well, they don't have any substance. They don't have a whole lot of meaning. It depends on who you're talking with, I guess, but that's the knock on them. And so we get a little confusion to start out with Claude Monet, and I was just talking about a painter named Manet. Okay, so they're both spelled the same except the A and now the O. So Monet, the most famous Impressionist, is also from this work. The whole movement gets its name, and it's as if you just sort of look at it, close your eyes, and then the appearance is like you hurriedly get down the gist of the whole thing. So they don't appear, these strokes, that's okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far, brush strokes for the reflection on the sun. It doesn't seem like there's that much work put into it, according to some critics, right? But you're getting the gist, the essence of it, as if you just sort of looked at it and closed, you get the spirit better that way for the whole scene. Okay. In part, Impressionism was really helped with these portable metallic tube paints, along with, besides them being in tubes, and so now portable, now painters do not have to mix them up on the spot. So if they want a certain kind of blue, they can buy that. And it doesn't exactly look like this, but think about it like your toothpaste tube, except it would have been metal at that time, and they're squeezing out a very bright paint. So the paints got brighter too, because when they were making these, so this was also true of the drier ones at the time, but they were figuring out how to put things in paints that would make them pop a little bit better. And so, like, this is not my area of expertise, but but lead in ways that I don't really understand. If you put in lead in some, it makes them like really the light catches them better, and they last a long time and all of that. Renoir and Degas is how you say these names. So Impressionism brought painterly spontaneity to a celebration of the leisure activities and diversions of urban life. So Renoir, especially, this is sort of his thing to paint. And so it is. It's a pretty painting, right? And is that devoid of meaning? I mean, I guess that's for you to say, right? And especially in context when you start looking through a whole lot of them. Degas is another big name that comes up with Impressionists. And they don't get into his life a whole lot, but it was I don't know, he was a little bit weird, I guess I would say. He had, even as an old man, he seemed to really hate women. And that's what I mean by that. He wrote a lot of it in letters. You could do a whole presentation just off of Degas' letters if you can get a hold of them. But, so on the one hand, he didn't seem to be too fond of women, but then he would show up and paint these essentially teenage girls, right? And he seemed really fascinated with that. And so he was, I don't know. You can research it on your own, I guess I would say. See, he comes across as kind of a creep to most people, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But his paintings, I mean, this I don't even know that that's some of his better stuff. He's got some really beautiful paintings. Cassatt now, yeah, so American. So now notice that we can now move besides the outdoor stuff that people like to or associate with the Impressionists. Well, now just life. I mean, so now this mother's taking care of her daughter, and so also we're in America now. Toulouse-Lautrec, the seamy side of Parisian life, of cabaret dancers and prostitutes. A lot of big cities were like this. Even before modern Tokyo came along, we're about to talk about Japan. It was Edo before that, and they had all sort. There was a section of Edo where they would have plays and all smoke dope, essentially, smoke opium, and all of the other stuff that we would think would go with all of that. So the cities were like large. Things like this tend to happen in large cities. They've always happened in large cities, but people are talking about them a little bit more now. It is the case, much like we're going to talk about how the modernists really pick up with try to steal the ideas in the good sense of steal African art. So now just know that the Japanese prints or Western artists are seeing these and are getting sort of captivated with them as they were. So not this exactly, but they'll start lifting some of the things that they see in these wood blocks.